And thank you so much for joining us for Let's Talk. And of course, we are here for you live on YouTube and live on Facebook. And also, you can call 615-737-9292, bringing you the issues that affect you all over, everywhere. Tell a friend. Let's Talk is now on Facebook and on YouTube. And we want to talk about something that is important for all of us, and that is mentoring our children, especially our young ladies, our girls. There's opportunities for women and girls. There's a luncheon coming up. We're getting you ready for the 17th Annual Literary Luncheon. It's hosted by Le Gems Incorporated, Nashville's chapter, and it is a women's organization founded in 1955, so it's been around a while, by HBCU educators, and they are committed to opening opportunities for women and girls. You are invited to the luncheon. We have the co-chairs for the event. First, we have Nashville Davidson County Register of Deeds, Karen Y. Johnson. Hello, Ms. Johnson.
Good afternoon, Ernie.
Good to see you. Good to see you. And also, she is also, let me tell you, the former Metro Council member and the first woman and first African-American woman elected register. Also, Dr. Kendra Clariette, who's an educator in the Metro Nashville Public School System. Also, nationally recognized, as we understand, in literary-based learning. Dr. Clariette, welcome to Let's Talk.
Yes, thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And thank you so much. You were getting ready for this luncheon. First, let's talk about Le Gems itself. People are listening. I get new listeners all the time that says, I never heard of Le Gems Incorporated. Tell me about it. I know it was founded in 1955. What about the Nashville chapter, Dr. Clariette?
So the Nashville chapter was chartered in 2004 by some illustrious women that represent Nashville from all corners of Nashville. And we came together to charter this chapter that has been making leaps and bounds in the Nashville community. And our hallmark event, the Literary Luncheon, has been going on 17 years strong.
All right.
Currently, we're being led by the illustrious, that's my word today, Dr. Phyllis Qualls is our president right now. So we're just capitalizing on our predecessors and perpetuating our organization.
All right. And how long have you been a member?
This is my second year being a member. I was initiated in 2022.
All right. Ms. Johnson, how long you been a member of the Le Gems?
I don't want to say the year.
Okay.
But I'm going to say I've been around since the very beginning, somewhere around the 2005 to 2007. I think it was 2007 actually is when I first became a member, but it was right around that time frame.
All right. We want to deal with some issues that are facing young girls, our tomorrow's leaders. And we also want to talk about how this program or this organization is helping mentor our young girls. But first, let's talk about the luncheon that's coming up. I want to know more. You have entertainment, I understand.
Yes, we do. And it is a treat for anyone that attends. We're pulling from every realm of the arts this go around. We have Kimberly Fleming, which is a Grammy-nominated musical artist coming in with the music. She's a former Fisk Jubilee singer. We also have the Friends of Fisk. That's a collaboration of former Fisk Jubilee singers that are in the city. We have the Nashville Poet Laureate Jaden Marshall.
All right.
The Sankofa African Dance Group. And our keynote, our main attraction will be best-selling author Rashonda Tate. And I'm going to let our chair talk about Miss Tate's work and her legacy that she's still building.
All right. What about that co-chair?
Yes, and I do want to also mention that Dr. Wilson, is it Preston Wilson, with Fisk University, is also, he just recently was put into the role of directing the Jubilee Singers. So he will be there directing the former Jubilee Singers, as he's a former Jubilee singer himself. And what's unique about all of them that will be there is Kimberly is a former Jubilee singer. He's a former Jubilee singer, and all the others
All
that
right.
will be there. So that's exciting. But Rashonda Tate is a best-selling author. She's authored 53 books. One of the books was "Let the Church Say Amen,"
Amen.
and that was put into a film, directed by Regina King, and produced by T.D. Jakes and Queen Latifah.
All right.
So she's a moving shaker because Rashonda also made her own on-screen movie debut, which was BET's highest rated films on her book, The Secret She Kept. And it was made into a movie and aired on TV One. So she is outstanding. Every attendee at this year's luncheon will receive a copy of her newly released book,
All right.
The Queen of Sugar Hill. So that will be signed and given to each guest will have a signed copy of her latest book that was released the end of January.
Wow.
So-
This is all taking place, of course, May 18th.
May
At the
18th.
Music Study Center.
At the Music City
Get your
Center.
tickets now.
Yes.
Get your tickets now.
This is for a great
Eventbrite.
cause.
Yes. Yes.
And you have some award recipients.
We
Tell me
do.
about that.
We do. We have several awards named after our charter members, and we present these at our Hallmark event. And we have some just out the box recipients this year. We have Sharon Roberson. She's the president and CEO of the YWCA of Nashville and Middle Tennessee.
All right.
And she'll be receiving the Luminaire Award, and this is for a transformative trailblazer. So she encompasses those qualities, and that's why she's receiving the award. And next we have Dr. Glenda Baskin Glover,
All
our
right.
president of the Tennessee
Tennessee
State
State
University, and as she makes strides toward her retirement,
Right.
we are presenting her with the Dr. Evelyn Fancher Award, one of our charter members, and she has made significant contributions in the community as she has led Tennessee State during her tenure. Meredith McKinney. She's one of my colleagues from the Metropolitan Nashville Public School System. She'll be receiving the Rosetta Miller Perry Award, and this award honors an individual who has made significant contributions in the literary field. Meredith started the Black Book Project during COVID to bring relevant content books to our students throughout the pandemic. So he has received that award named after the wonderful publisher of the Tennessee Tribune, Rosetta Miller Perry.
Right.
And Ms. Perry is also a charter member of Les Joms.
Les Jones. Les Gems? Les Joms?
It depends on the day. I feel really, really international today.
The organization is committed to mentoring young girls and get them prepared for to be tomorrow's leaders, if you will. Why do you feel that organizations such as yourself has been so successful in this, right? Ms. Johnson?
By keeping the focus on them, we have given them cultural experiences from going to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis to the National History Museum, Black History Museum in D.C., Selma, many other cultural experiences. And we prepare them for post-secondary education, which is very important. We want their focus on education because with our literacy rates from Tennessee being what they are, we're at the bottom, as everyone know. So we've got a lot of work to do in that area. And with a focus on achievement, that is very important to us to give them the tools and the knowledge and the exposure to be successful. And so we give them computers. We also, give them scholarships. And so you can...
Great organization.
Yeah, you can add on to that, Dr. Kendra.
Right. And of course, we always hear about mentoring young men. But
Right.
young women need mentoring as well.
Yes.
Exactly. And just to expound upon what Karen just talked about, we're just very consistent in supporting our girls.
Right.
So with this event coming up, that will enable us to fund all the good things that we continue to do for the girls. They will have a play in the event. They will present what they've learned throughout the year during the event. So we really want to spotlight them. And like you said, it's a lot of mentoring programs for
Right.
young men
Right.
now. We just really want to continue to mentor our young ladies and hope it catches a fire throughout the community that we're focusing on our girls because they have the future ahead of them. And we just
Absolutely.
want them to be armed with all the social graces, with the etiquette, the exposure, with the trips, and also with the scholarships, letting them know that scholarship is key.
Right. Now, you are a teacher,
Uh,
literary teacher.
Well, actually, I taught for 11 years.
You're still a teacher.
Still a teacher. Still a teacher. Not
Everywhere
just
you
with the
go,
students.
you're dropping those nuggets, if you will.
Yes, and I always say that I'm not with the students per se as much, but I'm a literary coach, a literacy
Right.
coach at a middle school in Metro Nashville Public Schools, and I work with teachers with professional development and how to integrate literacy strategies through their instruction. So yes, always a teacher.
Let me bring up life lessons. I always say it always starts at home.
Yes.
So what can parents do to better prepare their children, especially young girls, for the future?
Well, make education number one
All right.
in the household.
It's not number one?
Well, sometimes, social media takes precedence now with the telephones
Okay.
and the distractions and just,
Don't go to your room where you have a TV or a television and don't go in there on your phone. Go read a book.
Exactly. So starting those home libraries, going to the library as a family, going to bookstores. We know bookstores are somewhat defunct, but it's some still sprinkled out.
Why aren't parents doing that now, Miss Johnson? They're so busy with their own lives, working 2 jobs to support the family.
I don't think
They
it's
forgot
so
the
much
family
that they're
value?
not doing it. I still think the grandparents are in the equation, and
Absolutely.
many of them
Big mama,
pick
can
up
we
the
call her
mantle,
that?
right? But I think this generation is doing things a little bit different than us. Sometimes it's not all about just picking up an actual book, but audio books are very popular with this generation. Same thing.
Right.
So, and one of the things I think, like with this luncheon, to keep girls motivated and young women, I'm going to specifically talk about the musical artist, Kimberly Fleming,
All right.
because the song that she's going to sing that has been released, has been hugely successful, is called I Like Me.
You have to like yourself.
Self-love is important.
Absolutely.
And so we have put a huge emphasis on having women who they can look at and see, I can be
Right.
what I see.
Right.
And so if you notice that the entire luncheon is around strong women, one who has made it as a TV journalist, Rashonda Tate, a Grammy-nominated musical artist, and a news anchor. All these women, and then you've got Jaden Marshall, who is the new 2024 Nashville Poet Laureate. That's an inspiration to hear from this young lady who just got selected. And then to have the other elements to come in from the
Right.
African dancers.
And it all goes back to the basics. Let's talk about literacy.
Yes.
Give me an example of literacy.
Literacy,
Doctor?
just an example, but just to really get the definition down, is the ability to comprehend
Okay.
and understand reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So being very literate in those areas.
And
is
quite
really-
naturally, anyone that cannot do that is illiterate.
Basically.
Right.
Basically.
So how can we get some of these scores up? What our 3rd graders, our 4th graders, to prepare them?
Well, it's going to take a community push, and it's going to have to be a grassroots effort. And it starts with organizations like like
Little
gyms,
gyms.
to really start these small conversations. Because if we have a mentoring group in one side of the city in Antioch, we might have one in Brentioch, we might have one in East Nashville. It doesn't always have to be together, but there are pieces to the puzzle
Right.
to make the bigger picture more palatable.
It's, being a former teacher, is it the curriculum that we're giving young people?
I don't think it's the
Is
curriculum.
it too hard,
I
as
don't
they
think
always
it's
say?
the
This is
curriculum
too
per
hard.
se. It's a lot of elements.
Okay.
First of all, we need people to be teachers. Again, a
Okay.
lot of teacher education programs are dwindling with teacher candidates. So we have a lot of people coming in without a teaching background. We have people coming in as second career professionals. I started teaching just on the behest of my mother. She was a teacher for 42 years. So that was our family business. I knew when I entered Tennessee State that I wanted to be a teacher. So that's a part of the conundrum that we're dealing with, the teacher shortage. The next thing is, policy. Policy controls a lot. So we
Right.
know in Tennessee, we've been going through a lot of policy dealing with education,
Yeah.
logistically, with the safety, with the teacher bill, with the literacy bill, with third grade.
I was going to stay away from that.
Banning of books.
But
banning of
teachers
books.
carrying guns is a little bit for me. I don't think it's going to work personally.
Well, we live in a state that felt like that was the solution. So we'll see. I'm just so glad that bigger districts, especially our district, Metro Nashville Public Schools, Dr. Battle came out with a statement that no teacher will carry a gun.
All right.
Right.
MNPS.
Go ahead, Dr. Battle.
Yes.
Right.
So that was a plus. So we really stood on business, as the students say,
Right.
about our safety and MNPS and with the teacher gun situation. But
And Dr. Battle was a teacher.
yes, she
So
was.
that's why she understands.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, an excellent leader.
Speaking of teaching, we want our children to learn. We want them to
Yes.
do well in life. But we got to go back to the basics again. So, Ms. Johnson, let me ask, where do we begin? When a young lady comes to her mother or her father or grandparent or uncle or aunt and says, I want to know about this. So we have to be prepared to help them.
Meet them where they are.
Okay.
That's what we have to do. And I think these students are eager to learn. It's just they learn differently. So you can't put all children in a box. And I believe that you nurture them where they are
Exactly.
and allow them to be themselves and not someone else. And I think that's the key. And that's one of the things we do through our organization is we allow them to blossom and to blossom in what they have a passion in,
Right.
they have an interest in. And I think if you keep their interests, then the learning will follow.
Right.
Yes.
You take, for example, the two of you, professional, and of course, know where the basics are, getting your education in order to get where you are. 737-9292. If you have a question or a comment for our guest, and that is Nashville Davidson County Register of Deeds, Karen Johnson, along with Dr. Kendra Clariot. She's an educator in the Metro Nashville Public School System. How can we help our children? What is literacy? A literary luncheon, hopefully I'm saying that right, is coming up. And it will be held at the Music City Center on Saturday, May 18th. It's from 11 to 1. And this organization has been around since 1955. The Nashville chapter since 2004. If you have a question, if you have a comment, grab a phone line, 615-737-9292. We're looking for solutions to get our young ladies going in the right direction. We know there's a lot of issues that are facing women today, but it all starts at the basics.
Exactly.
Parents, take time. Talk to your children
Yes.
and let them know, remember, you are a mirror. They're watching. They're watching.
You are the exemplar.
Right. Well, so what should we say to the parents to prepare their children, Dr. Clariot?
Well, it starts at zero. Research shows that children grow up very well-rounded when they're being read to in utero.
Okay.
So just starting at ground zero is so important. And then as a toddler, If a child is in the back seat of the car, reading the signs as you go down the street,
Right.
those exposure moments, though, taking advantage of those teachable moments and creating opportunities for you and your student to discover and just understand what the world is around them. And that's how they'll learn to comprehend and be literate. They have to have prior knowledge to things in order to build their lexicon, the way they talk, and the way they think. So it starts as ground zero.
Zero would be read me a bedtime story.
Read me a bedtime
Yes.
story. Read an
Okay.
affirmation in the morning.
Instead of taking them to the zoo, take them to the library,
Yes, to the museum.
to the museum.
African American Music Museum. Downtown, we have the Tennessee, brand new Tennessee Museum by Farmers Market. There are an array of things that we can immerse our students in, but we have to give them the opportunity. We can't say this for one certain group of people because exposure is key, and we want to expose our students to everything that we can.
And those who would come to this luncheon, they're going to be exposed to someone that people don't sometimes even know who they are. Hattie McDaniel. The book, The
Right.
Queen of Sugar Hill, Hattie McDaniel was the first Black to receive an Oscar.
Yeah, she played Mammy.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. And another thing that they don't know about Hattie McDaniel was she led an effort to end the racist covenants that were in deeds across the nation. So there was segregated housing, and where you couldn't even buy housing. She was wealthy during that day and time because of what she was doing, and she couldn't buy a house. And so she learned real quick that we've got to change this. We got to change, what is this that you cannot buy a house in a certain area just because it says no Negro, that's what it said on the deed,
Wow.
can buy in this area. And so she led an effort around that to turn that situation around. So she was one of the ones that fought segregated housing in Los Angeles. Well, you wouldn't know that if you weren't exposed.
Absolutely. Right.
And so this luncheon gives people an opportunity to be able to learn something that they can also share with their children and other family members who may not know about this person.
Le Gems Incorporated, a Nashville chapter, a women's organization founded in 1955 by HBCU educators. They're committed now to opening opportunities for women and girls. What about membership? Can we reach out and say, ladies, if you're doing what you're doing, contributing to the society, you join our organization? What about that, chairperson?
Well, how you
You
join?
looking for new members?
Well, just with the offerings we have community service opportunities, and once you get acquainted with everyone, you will be invited to join if you would like, and that comes around every probably 2 or 3 years. But we're open to anybody that wants to volunteer and help us in our efforts in supporting our jewels.
Right. While we're waiting on the
and the
application to be
jewels are the
processed.
young ladies.
Yes,
Right.
the
So
jewels
we
are
say
young
jewels a
ladies.
lot, but people don't know what that is. That is
Yes.
our young
So
ladies
we
who
call them the
we
jewels.
mentor.
The jewels.
We're
Yes.
the gems, and they're the jewels.
What are some of the questions that some young ladies have asked you, Dr. Clary, about life?
I'm just moving on from the K-12 environment to collegiate and post-secondary opportunities as far as choosing a major and selecting a professional pathway to go on. And it's just such an honor and blessing that young ladies would reach out to me and the other ladies to really kind of map out their life. They're the architect of their life right now. So just to be that positive conduit, their consultant, is just really an honor because we get the girls starting in 9th grade. So
Okay.
they're in their last 4 years of K-12. So they're really, really thinking and just being a part of the mentoring cohort.
So you start with the 9th grade.
Yes.
Let me go back there.
Yes.
All right. Now, why not younger?
Because younger is really a focus type thing. When
Okay.
you're in ninth to 12th grade, we can
You're in
really,
high school.
you're in high school and we can take you on college tours and things of that nature that can make a real good effect. So hopefully, and I'm speaking this into existence and manifesting it as we grow as a chapter, maybe we can in the future open it up to a middle school cohort, but we'll keep that separate
Okay.
so we can focus on middle
How,
school
how do you
issues.
how do you recruit the young girls?
So they're recruited by recommendation.
Gotcha.
We as members, we seek out young ladies in our different community based situations such as church, and I might know a young lady that goes to the beauty shop with me, and we might know a next door neighbor. There's a array of ways that we recruit the young
Right.
ladies.
So it's similar to a Big Sisters program, Ms.
Yes,
Johnson?
but if people are exposed to us, like we're always working out in the community. And so, there are women that see what we do. And so they ask.
Okay.
A lot of people know me from being involved out in the community. And so if someone comes to me and say, I have a daughter that's interested in being mentored, could you look at her or submit her name to be one of the the jewels, then that's what we would do. But I think it's just people being exposed to our work and this luncheon. I'm gonna go back to that.
We need to
Is
talk
another
about it.
avenue to learn what we do as women and what our organization does.
So
and
will there
from
be
there, it
conference?
spreads.
So will there be workshops or?
We
Little-
don't.
little
It's
conferences?
mostly the luncheon is what we
Okay.
focus on. And like I said, the luncheon is built around strong women.
Gotcha.
So this is an opportunity to highlight not just me and Dr. Kendra, but everybody within our organization, as well as those who are coming to speak, like journalist Rashonda Tate, Kimberly Fleming, Danielle Ledbetter, who's on News Channel 4. When young women look at all of us collectively, they're going to have an interest just based on what they see.
Well, no, that's personally satisfying for you as well,
Yes.
knowing that you're
Yes.
help mentoring a young girl to perhaps follow in your footsteps, go into
Yes.
politics, go into being a community organizer, being an educator, such as
Yes.
yourself, Dr. Kendra Clariette.
Yes. We want to provide the example and a positive example, because living in a world with so many distractions and negativity, we want to be that shining light. We want
Right.
to shine like a gem
Absolutely.
and be that gem for those girls.
I'm all about being positive.
And we want them to know their history.
yes.
Yes.
If you don't know where you've been,
like
you won't know
Hattie
where you're going.
McDaniel. They would not know that she fought and won against segregated housing in Los Angeles.
Right.
Right.
But you would learn that from being exposed through opportunities such as this.
Absolutely. We're on the heels of celebrating women internationally, if you will. To keep it positive, but still, we need to look at what is happening today. There are still some things that are going on that affect women in general, such as equal pay,
Yes.
where you can look up, you can see the glass ceiling, but you need to break it. So what, in your opinion, Dr. Clariette,
Yes.
can we do to break that glass ceiling?
Education is the great equalizer.
Mhm.
Just being informed and seeking out. It's not always a 4-year university.
Right.
Maybe it's a
Right.
career and technical program that's
Vocational schools.
vocational. We have
Or IT.
IT.
Right.
We have coding
Coding.
going on. There's so many avenues that we can go down now instead of just relying on the traditional 4-year university education. And I think as women, we have always been fighting for our rights, even since the suffrage movement. And when you think about the suffrage movement, other people have been at the forefront, but people never talk about the Black women that supported the suffrage movement and supported women's rights throughout history. So, but when you think about those Black women, they had an educational background. They
Absolutely.
were educators also. So education is that great equalizer to kind of remedy that glass ceiling that we're trying to ever so break on a daily.
Right. And still discrimination against women as well.
It's discrimination against blacks, period. And I again,
Double minority, double minority.
I got so interested in this author because of Hattie McDaniel.
Okay.
And I'm going back to that again because many people don't realize what we've had to overcome as blacks, as African Americans. We were previously referenced as Negroes. And so all of these things are in documents. And it affects, if you can't get even equal pay, what makes you think you'll be able to get equal opportunity to purchase property that can increase your economic
or sit at the
situation?
Oscars, sit at the Oscars, which she wasn't allowed to do.
Exactly.
Les Gems, the 17th annual literary luncheon is getting ready to be hosted by the Les Gems Incorporated Nashville chapter. That is a women's organization. Again, it was founded in 1955 by HBCU educators. They are committed to opportunities for women and girls. You are invited to this luncheon, and we want you to be there on Saturday, May 18th at the Music City Center. Just great networking. Knowing where you were, where you are, and where you're going.
We want men, too.
Yeah.
Men who support women.
All right. Men, need for you to show up as well. Bring the checkbook so you can
They're gems,
lunch.
too. Y'all are gems, too.
Right.
Yes.
Grab a phone line, 615-737-9292. We're always looking for solutions to help raise the bar for women, to help break the glass ceiling, if you will. And remember, live on YouTube, live on Let's Talk Nashville. Grab a phone line, 615-737-9292. Perhaps you have a solution on how we can better serve our young ladies coming up. We want them to be successful. Perhaps the president, we got a woman vice president.
Kamala Harris.
Right.
Yes.
We may have a president next.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Grab a phone line.
She said, remember, she doesn't want to be the first and then the last. I mean, she said, I don't want to be the only one.
Right.
Exactly.
How did you find, there's so many great women doing great things in Nashville or Middle Tennessee or around the state, around the country, if you will. How did you come to these particular 3 recipients for these awards? Attorney Sharon Roberson, prior guest here on Let's Talk.
So we exercise our right to vote.
Okay.
As an organization, and we just polled our members, in which we have wonderful members that are making strides in the community. They're community leaders in their own rights, our members in the organization. And we had a slate of nominees that we asked the organization to compile, and we came up with these 3. And I think these 3 are the best 3 that I've seen, just hands down this year when we talk about Black Nashville and the different awards and things of that nature. These women are ever so deserving of this honor.
And the award recipients are Attorney Sharon Roberson, Dr. Glenda Baskin Glover, the former president. Well, she's still president until she leaves.
Yes, she has.
Of Tennessee State University. Yes. And then also Meredith McKinney, the founder of the Black Root Project. Tell me more about that project.
So she partnered with Bookham. And if you're familiar with Bookham, in Nashville, they collect books. It's an organization, nonprofit, and they distribute books throughout the community. So she had a heart work of getting more relevant culturally content to students during the pandemic, because it's not a lot of books that have somebody that looks like our African American children. So that was a part of her quest to get books to our children that represented them in those literary works. So she really, really was down on getting those books together. So she got recognized through Bookham and recommended by Bookham, and we got her in. And just speaking on our author, our keynote, Rashonda Tate, she has children's books that have Black characters. She even has a connection with Jack and Jill, where she wrote a history book on one of the regions of Jack and Jill. So she's very youth based, not only writing adult content, she also writes content for children and youth.
Right.
So we really want to capitalize on what we have for the luncheon through our author Rashonda Tate and making that connection with Meredith McKinney. We have Sharon Robertson, and then we have Glenda Glover, the one of the educators of Nashville, leading
Absolutely.
a great HBCU, Tennessee State University. 3500 John A. Mary Boulevard, as I am an alumni, and my co-chair, Ms. Karen Johnson, is an alumni as
HBCU.
well. Yes, representing.
Right.
And just really...
And you're an educator now, as
Yes.
far as literacy is concerned. Let's go back to literacy itself.
Yes.
Do a lot of people realize that if you have trouble reading, you have trouble writing and speaking?
Yes,
Yes.
it all works together. If you can't put together a sentence spoken, it's very rare that you can put it on paper, and vice versa. So we really want to immerse not only students at K through 12, but adults as well. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So just as an adult, read something daily. I don't care if it's a blog that you read, a news blog. Write something at the end of the day.
Magazines?
A magazine.
Okay.
I grew up reading Jet and Ebony and
okay.
Essence,
Right,
and
right.
we know those magazines, especially Jet, is not put out print wise, but you can get it digital. You can read Ebony online digitally. So just kind of etching that time to make it a part of your everyday regimen to keep your mind sharp. I know my mother will be 77 next month, and she does
bless her heart.
puzzles. She does puzzles
Okay.
to keep that mind sharp, but just keeping a regimen of making sure that you're reading daily, that you're writing daily. If you're writing something like in a journal, at night. So
And going
Right.
back to Meredith McKinney, she started out with just work. She aimed for 500 books, and in 2020 during the pandemic, and the project ended up collecting and distributing over 10,000 books.
Wow.
And she received in 2022 the Strobel Awards, receiving the 2022 Community Choice Awards, the 2023 NAACP Non-Government Corporate Award. She is a powerhouse in the making. And all of these women that are part of this luncheon are the same, because you've got Rashonda, like I said, who's a TV journalist.
Right.
And has what you said, Dr. Kendra, about the Brown Girls books, which is similar to what Meredith McKinney did. But this is why we want to invite everyone
Right.
to look
And
at coming
let's
to
go
this
over the
luncheon.
agenda again, if we can. And we're talking about literacy. Literacy controls the way you speak, the way you read, the way you write. It just controls your entire life. We want you to read more. Perhaps that will encourage your young girls or young ladies, if you will, to read more as well. We want you to get ahead in life. So, again, Lay Gems sponsoring this upcoming luncheon. Let's talk about the location and the time again.
Well, it will be Saturday, May 18th, and it'll be from 11 to 1. You can Google Eventbrite and put in the keywords La Gems, GEMMES.
The Joms.
LES,
I have to
La,
practice that.
and then Gems, GEMMES, Nashville. So
All right.
Google Eventbrite and put in La Gems, Nashville, and all of the information will come up on the luncheon.
And that, of course, will be on Saturday, May 18th at the Music City Center.
Parking is free.
yes.
Free parking.
Free
Okay,
parking.
we didn't mention that before.
Yeah.
And we're multifaceted. So if you would like to peruse some local vendors, we'll have vendors on site starting at 11 a.m. until the event starts.
Well, they'll be there at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
I understand
you.
it'll be about 400
Yeah.
attendees, too.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And where did we get the African apparel from?
Well, we do have
Going back to our roots.
a lot of people are going to be in African dress.
Mhm.
All right.
So that's what the theme is around the luncheon. All of the decorations, the ambiance, the entire event is around that. So we encourage you to come in your African attire.
And if you probably will have a vendor selling those wares
Okay.
too. So if you come,
Maybe I can get a dashiki.
maybe you
or
can get a
something.
dashiki and a kufu. And,
A kufu?
yeah,
Okay.
a
Well.
hat.
Oh, okay.
And I had to put in a
So
plug.
what I know.
I had to put in a plug for Oye Coffee.
Mhm.
That's Oye Coffee,
Right.
co.com.
Right.
They will be on site as one of our vendors. But we've got over 20 some odd vendors, 25,
Yes.
30 vendors.
All right. What about
or more.
sponsorships as well?
Yeah, well, we've got sponsors. The sponsors this year: Freeman Webb,
Freeman Webb,
Advanced Financial,
Providence Title,
Providence Title. Oh, I didn't bring that list.
Jerry Maynard.
Yeah, Jerry
Okay.
Maynard.
All right. My good friend. So this sounds like a good time.
Yes, it's a good
Yes.
time. Like I said, it's multifaceted. We're going to engage all of the senses on May 18th.
All right. Any words of wisdom about reading, Dr. Clariette, before we go?
So I love the quotes by Malcolm X
Mm-hmm.
when he says education is the passport to the future.
Gotcha.
So if we don't read, we won't have that stamp to go to the next adventure
Right.
that we're in facing. So we
Gotcha.
have to have our stamps
Mhm.
for our passport, and our stamps are the books and
Yeah.
the reading pieces that we're building our cerebellum and our medulla oblongata and having a comprehension on whatever is going on around us.
I would imagine that you read a lot yourself.
Yes, I'm a bit of a nerd, just a bit.
What anything that interests you in particular?
I like a lot
Mysteries.
of nonfiction,
Okay.
a lot of biographies. Just finished the Michelle Obama's second
Okay.
book.
All right. So just a variety of everything.
Just a variety.
Just to educate yourself and stay abreast.
I like the news, yes.
Yeah. Sure.
All
You
that good
you
stuff.
read a lot, Miss Johnson?
I do.
All right.
I like Toni Morrison. I love Oprah Winfrey. I like poetry. But yes, I
Right.
read a lot. And
Right.
I love to read.
Oh, I do too as well. I used to be called a bookworm or a nerd. So what are you doing? I'm reading a book?
You catching up with Cat Williams.
What do you do?
He said in his Shannon Sharp interview that he read over 100,000 books.
Wow.
So he's kind of claimed himself as a bookworm also.
Hmm. If anyone wants to become a member of Legems or want to know more on how they can help with the activities that you have, is there a website that they can go to again?
We do have the website,
All right. Or a number?
and I will give you the website is legemsnashville.org. All one word, no
Right.
dots, no dashes.
All right. We do not want you to miss it. The 17th Annual Literary Luncheon, hosted by the Gems Incorporated, Nashville's chapter, a women's organization founded in 1955 by HBCU educators. They are committed to opening opportunities for women and girls, and you welcome some competition because the more people we have on the field fighting, the better our young ladies are going to be.
Yes. So this is a challenge to all the organizations in Nashville. Take a hold of our young ladies.
Right.
They need your support. So as we support our jewels, we want all the other organizations to support young ladies in Nashville as well.
All right. It's
And when
the
you go
annual.
to our website, make sure to click on programs, and then there you will see the 2024 Literary Luncheon. Click on that link, and it gives you all the information about the luncheon.
All right. Also, literary skills include listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Read a book, and you'll be better informed in life and hopefully go above and beyond and reach that ceiling, young lady. So, again, we invite you to bring your niece, daughter, whomever, on out to the luncheon. Best-selling author Rashonda Tate will be there, and she'll be the headline. There will be entertainment from Kimberly Fleming, the Friends of Fisk University, Poet Laureate Jaden Marshall, and the Sankofa African Dance Group. You do not want to miss this event.
And I don't want to leave out Ernie, our MC Danielle Ledbetter,
All right.
who's the weekend anchor for WSMV.
All right.
So we're in for a treat.
Don't miss it. It'll be Saturday, May 18th, and the co-chair is Nashville-Davidson County Register of Deeds, Karen Y. Johnson. And thank you so much. You know you have an open invitation to come back.
Thank you.
Always. Dr. Kendra Clariette, an educator in the Metro Nashville Public School System. You have an open invitation to join us as well.
Thank you.
All right. Don't miss the 17th Annual Literary Luncheon, sponsored by Le Gems, Nashville's chapter. All right? All right. You'll be sorry if you missed it.
Yes.
Missing a whole lot. And don't miss our next episode or our next segment of our show. As you know, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, he just released a $3.1 billion transportation plan. It's called Choose How You Move.
Wow.
Aren't you tired of just being stuck in rush hour traffic?
Yes.
Don't you want more opportunities for buses or
Yes.
rail system or something? Well, our guest will be the mayor of Nashville, Mr. Freddie O'Connell, on next episode on next week, if you will. All right? So join us for that and your input. Always at 615-737-9292. Let's talk now on Facebook and also on YouTube. So always join us. Tell a friend. And then, of course, you can always call us, 615-737-9292. We're here for you. Always remember to respect your father and your mother. Love your brother. And teach your sister how to be a lady. And bring them to the luncheon.
Yes.
Right. Until our next episode, it's been our pleasure. We hope it's been yours.
You've been listening to Let's Talk with your host, Ernie Allen. The views and opinions expressed on Let's Talk do not necessarily represent the position of this radio station or management on the subject matter. Let's Talk is a presentation of the News and Public Affairs Department of 92Q. Check out this and previous Let's Talk shows online at 92QNashville.com.